My son, my daughter, I need you to know one thing above all else. I saw you, not the mask you showed the world today, not the version you put on display while holding back everything inside. I saw what stayed quiet, what you swallowed, what you've been carrying since you woke up, and what you'll carry until you lie down, unless someone touches it right now. There is a weariness that sleep cannot cure. You know it well. It's that weight that remains even after a good night's rest, that feeling that something inside you is broken, but you don't know exactly where. And that makes everything harder because you can't even point to what needs to be healed. And in the silence, you learn to live with it. Closing yourself off a little more each day, hoping it would just go away on its own. But I didn't come to find you after you recovered. I came to meet you now, exactly as you are. As you were listening to this, I already stepped in, not just into your room, not into your visible problems. I entered that place inside you that even you stopped visiting. The place where the heartache was stored, where hope slowly faded, where you learned not to expect much so you wouldn't be disappointed. That is where I am working right now, not with noise, not with pressure, but with the gentleness of someone who knows every detail of what you've been through and who decided today to start restoring what was broken deep down. What has grown cold within you, I am reigniting. What has dried up, I am watering. What you thought you had lost forever, I saved for this very moment. If this word touched something real inside you, write in the comments, God entered my home today. Subscribe, leave a like, and share this message with someone you love. And stay until the end. I am still here. I know that today you woke up with that strange feeling, as if something inside you was out of place, as if the weight you carry no longer fit inside your chest. Even as you try to follow your routine, every step feels slower, every decision harder because there is a tiredness that no one sees, an overload you've learned to hide even from yourself. But I saw when you almost gave up in silence. I saw that moment when you thought you couldn't keep holding it all up alone. And that is exactly where I come in, not when everything is organized, but when you no longer know where to start over, because what you call confusion, I call an intervention point. And right now, in this instant as you listen, I am organizing what you cannot explain. I am touching the roots of this exhaustion that isn't just physical, but emotional and spiritual. You've been holding on to more than you should. You've taken on responsibilities that weren't yours to bear. You've tried to keep things standing that were already begging for rest, and it has worn you out from the inside. But listen closely, because this changes now. Not because you got stronger, but because I decided to carry with you what was crushing you. You will start to notice a subtle shift, like a relief that arrives without warning, as if something is being lifted off you bit by bit. I am removing the excess. I am dismantling the invisible weight that has been suffocating you, and what seemed to have no way out is starting to reorganize in a way you never imagined. Not because everything around you changed suddenly, but because I began changing you from the inside first. When the inside aligns, the outside responds. So do not blame yourself for being tired. Do not judge yourself for no longer being able to sustain everything with the same strength as before. This isn't weakness. It's the sign that the moment has come to let me take control of the areas you've tried to solve alone for far too long. I didn't come to demand anything from you. I came to give you relief. I didn't come to remind you of what you didn't do. I came to show you what I have already started doing for you, because while you thought you were standing still, I was moving. While you thought you were losing, I was repositioning you. And now you are entering a season where it won't be about constant struggle, but about direction. It won't be about weight, but about alignment. And it starts here, now, inside you, where no one sees, but where everything truly changes. Because it is in the secret place that I restore. It is in the silence that I rebuild. And that is exactly where your new beginning is being formed. I also know there is something inside your home that has been worrying you more than you admit. A situation you observe in silence, trying to understand how it got to this point. Perhaps words that no longer have the same warmth, perhaps distances that grew without you noticing, perhaps someone you love who seems further and further away, and it hurts in a way you can't explain to anyone because you try to keep the peace, you try to avoid conflict, you try to be strong so everything around you doesn't crumble, but inside you feel that something needs to change. And that is why I'm telling you now. I entered your house today, not just to touch you, but to touch what you cannot reach. I am visiting environments you cannot transform with words. I am entering hearts you cannot convince. I am breaking down resistances you've tried to face in every way possible, because there are things that aren't resolved through human effort. They are resolved by my presence. And as you listen, I am moving exactly that. I am softening what seemed hardened. I'm bringing understanding where there was noise. I'm releasing a kind of peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, but on my direct action. You will notice signs of this, small at first, almost imperceptible, but real. Changes in posture, in tone, in the atmosphere. Because when I enter, nothing stays the same, even if it takes time for you to fully understand. What worries you so much today will not be the end of the story. It will be the backdrop for the miracle you are about to witness. But before that, I need you to trust without needing to control. I need you to rest without needing to understand everything. Because I'm already working where you cannot reach, and this work will not be interrupted. And there is something deeper you need to hear now. Something you perhaps never said out loud, but have carried inside for a long time. A silent fear of not being enough, of not being able to sustain what depends on you, of failing those you love. This fear grew slowly, hiding behind your responsibility, your dedication, your constant attempt to do everything right. But even doing everything, there is still that internal voice that pressures you, that accuses you, that makes you feel like it's never enough. This has worn you down more than any external problem, because the most intense battle isn't outside, it's inside. And I am entering that very place right now. That place where you push yourself harder than you should, where you blame yourself for things that were out of your control, where you demand more of yourself than is healthy. I am breaking that cycle at this moment. You weren't created to live carrying this constant weight of insufficiency. You were created to walk with me. And when you walk with me, you don't have to prove anything all the time. You don't have to sustain everything alone. You don't have to live in a permanent state of high alert. I'm bringing you back to this place of internal rest, where you still act, still care, still show up, but you don't destroy yourself in the process. Because what I'm doing now isn't just solving external situations. It's healing the way you see yourself. It's restoring the way you carry life. It's setting you free from this invisible pattern that exhausts you. And when this is completely aligned inside you, you will realize that many things around you will also adjust naturally. Not by effort, but as a consequence of the transformation that started inside you now. I know you've tried to be strong for too long. You tried to keep everything in place, even when, inside, everything was falling apart in silence. You tried not to worry anyone. You swallowed your words, held back your tears, and postponed your own rest to sustain what seemed to depend on you. And while everyone saw your firmness, I saw the accumulated wear and tear within your soul. I saw how you were slowly emptying out without even realizing it. And that is why today I am telling you clearly, you don't have to keep going like this. This cycle of carrying everything alone is being interrupted now, not by your strength, but by my direct intervention. As you listen, I am reorganizing what you tried to hold up by yourself for so long. I am redistributing weights, I'm closing off the drains that were depleting you. I'm breaking patterns that repeated in your life and always led you to the same place of exhaustion. Because what you lived through wasn't just a difficult routine. It was an accumulation of emotional responsibilities that were never properly dealt with. This created a constant tension inside you, a feeling that you always needed to be ready, always needed to solve, always needed to hold everything together. But that didn't come from me. That was built up over time, and today I'm carefully deconstructing it. I'm doing it with precision because I don't just lighten the load. I teach you how not to pick it up again. This will start to change the way you react, how you decide, and how you position yourself. You will no longer be guided by pressure, but by direction. You will no longer be moved by the fear of losing control, but by the confidence that I am in control. This internal change will bring a lightness you haven't felt in a long time, a deeper breath, a calmer thought, a more stable presence within yourself. Because where I enter, chaos does not remain. It organizes itself, it aligns, it loses the power it once had, and this has already begun. And I know there is also a weariness that didn't just come from what you did, but from what you waited for. From the answers that were delayed. From situations that dragged on longer than they should have. From the prayers you said without seeing an immediate return. This created a mix of faith and frustration inside you, a hope that tried to keep going but no longer had the same strength. Perhaps you never said this clearly, but at times you thought maybe nothing would change, that maybe things would just stay this way. That thought hurt you more than anything else because it struck directly at your hope. But listen closely, because I am restoring that now. Not with empty words, but with action in the unseen realm. While you thought you were waiting alone, I was aligning details you couldn't see. I was adjusting timing, connecting situations, and preparing answers that couldn't arrive before the right moment. Because if they had arrived early, they couldn't have been sustained. And now you are entering that exact point where things begin to respond, where what was stuck begins to move, where what seemed distant begins to draw near. You will perceive this not as an explosive event, but as a sequence of signs, like doors that start to open more naturally, like paths that start to make sense, like decisions that were once difficult and now become clear. Because when the right time comes, everything aligns with precision, and that time has begun, even if you are still learning to notice it. And there is something I need to touch very directly inside you now, something you've perhaps tried to ignore, but that is still there, influencing the way you live. The marks of old disappointments that were never fully healed. Situations that hurt you deeply. Words that stayed engraved. Moments when you felt alone, helpless, or wronged. Even though time has passed, those marks still influence your reactions, your decisions, and your ability to trust. This created a kind of protection inside you, an attempt to avoid feeling that way again. But at the same time, this protection also limited you. It made you pull back in some areas and doubt in others. I am entering that very place now, not to expose the pain, but to heal it completely. You weren't called to live in a state of constant self-protection. You were called to live in freedom. And that freedom begins when those wounds stop governing your choices. That is what I am doing now. I'm removing the emotional charge that was still attached to those memories. I'm giving new meaning to what you went through. I'm showing you that those things do not define who you are, nor do they determine where you are going. Gradually, you will realize that certain memories no longer have the same weight. Certain situations no longer affect you the same way. Certain reactions simply cease to exist. Because healing isn't just forgetting, it's transforming the impact that thing had on you, and that transformation has already started inside you now, silently, but truly, deeply, and permanently. I know there is a part of your story that you almost never revisit anymore. Not because it stopped existing, but because remembering hurts in a quiet, deep way that's hard to explain. You learned to move on, carrying it as if it were normal, as if it were just another part of life. But I saw how much it marked you. I saw how it changed the way you look at people, how you trust, how you give of yourself. Even though you moved forward, something inside you stayed on constant alert, as if you were always waiting for something to go wrong again. This tired you out more than any current problem, because living like that requires continuous emotional vigilance. And that is exactly where I am touching now, in that place where you still protect yourself, where you still hold back, where you still avoid opening up completely, not for lack of will, but for fear of feeling again what hurt you before. I'm telling you with all clarity, you don't have to live like this anymore. Because I didn't just see what happened, I also saw what stayed inside you afterward. And today, I'm treating that root, not superficially, but deeply. I am removing the tension that follows you. I am restoring within you a confidence that doesn't depend on people, but on my constant presence. Little by little, you will realize you don't need to defend yourself all the time. You don't need to anticipate pain. You don't need to carry the expectation that something bad is always about to happen. Because when I take over that space inside you, fear loses its authority, and peace begins to occupy the places once dominated by insecurity. This will change the way you relate to others, how you make decisions, and how you live. You will no longer be guided by protection, but by freedom. And while I do this inside you, there is something happening around you that you haven't fully noticed yet. Discrete movements, silent adjustments, connections being repositioned, situations starting to change direction without any apparent explanation. Because when I begin an internal work, I also begin to align the external environment. What was once stuck begins to find a way. What seemed distant begins to draw near. Even people start to act differently, not because you asked, but because I touched them. Because I entered where you cannot enter. I spoke where you cannot speak. I moved what you cannot move. You will start to notice this in the details, in small changes that carry great meaning. Because my work rarely starts with a loud noise. It starts subtly, almost imperceptibly. But it is at that level that the greatest transformations are sustained. What is happening now isn't temporary. It is a realignment that will produce consistent fruit. You will look back and realize that that period of confusion, of waiting, of silence, was actually the time I worked the most for you. It was the time I most prepared the ground for what is beginning to emerge now. This will bring a new understanding within you. A different kind of peace, a security that no longer depends on immediate signs, but on the certainty that I am conducting every detail, even when you don't yet fully understand what is happening. And there is a liberation happening right now in your way of thinking, something you might not even notice immediately, but that will become clear in the coming days. I'm adjusting your mind. I am reorganizing your thoughts. I'm breaking internal patterns that always led you into the same cycles of worry, anxiety, and negative anticipation. This has been consuming your energy constantly, like background noise that never fully turned off. Today, I am silencing that noise. I am bringing clarity where there was confusion. I am bringing lightness where there was mental overload. You weren't created to live trapped in thoughts that exhaust you. You were created to live in peace, in direction, in balance. And that change starts now inside your mind, where I am establishing a new order, where your thoughts begin to align with the truth, where what used to dominate you begins to lose its power. You will notice this in the way you react, in how you interpret situations, and in how you face your days. Because what used to shake you easily will no longer have the same effect. And this won't be your own effort. It will be the result of what I am doing inside you now, continuously, progressively, and truly. This transformation will not be interrupted. Because when I start a work, I carry it through to the end. And what I started in you today won't just be momentary relief. It will be a new standard of living, sustained by my constant presence in you. If this message has spoken to your heart, I invite you to be part of our mission to spread faith and hope. Subscribe to the channel now, leave your like and share this message with those you love. Every gesture of yours can bring comfort and transformation to more lives. I really want to know how this word touched you, so write it in the comments. I will read every single one, and I will be praying for you and your family. Let's light up the world together with the Word of God. See you soon, and may God bless you. If this word touched your heart today, know that you can help this message reach other lives. Amen.